Tense moments Tuesday night during a Sacramento City Council meeting dedicated to the death of Stephon Clark, the unarmed man shot and killed by police. Stephon's brother, you see there, interrupting proceedings as hundreds face city leaders demanding answers and action. We've seen a lot of raw emotion throughout our city in the wake of Clark's death. We're joined now by Sacramento Mayor Darrell Steinberg, as you see, was there that night, of course. First, I want to bring this to the attention because this is new tonight. Stephon Clark's brother apologized to you for that night at the funeral today.
He did, and you know, he didn't have to. I didn't like what happened Tuesday night. It can't happen again. But part of my role as mayor is to try my best to bear the pain of the community and the family and people who are genuinely grieving. And he lost his brother. I'm strong. And he apologized to me today, but I just hope that you know, he and his family heal and know that we all grieve for the loss of his brother.
We've seen the protests play out over several days now, and in some cases there has been some harassment, and like you just said, that you feel like you need to bear some of the pain. The city needs to bear some of the pain. Some people may be thinking, look, we feel like we're starting to run out of goodwill here.
Well, first of all, as I said, what happened at the City Council on Tuesday night was extraordinary. There was a lot of emotion. That cannot happen again and will not happen again in the City Council chambers. But I think it's important to point out some of the positives here. Over 11 days with emotion, the nation watching us, the protests. Yes, people have been inconvenienced, and I'm sorry for that. Yes, people are feeling very raw. Very few arrests, nobody hurt. Limited property damage. That speaks to the strength of Sacramento. May it continue, because we can't take for granted that it will continue. But that's the civic culture we've built here. That is our men and women of the police department who have shown appropriate restraint. This is, there's some plus side. We need to now take this and we need to make the changes that the people are asking for.
So these shutdowns of city streets, that could go on for forever?
Well,
how long?
I don't think they will, because we are committed to not only a transparent investigation, but the city is committed to a wholesale review with the police department and with our very fine police chief of the policies, the protocols, the trainings, the questions that are raised when anybody sees that video. Very interesting. The video release policy was supposed to bring down the tension, because that's transparency. What it's really done is create even higher expectations for more transparency. And now we need to respect the integrity of the investigation, not prejudge it. But that's different from asking whether the policies, the trainings, and the protocols need to be changed. And in my view, from what I saw and what I hear from the people that I represent, I think that there's a lot of room to ask and answer the question, isn't there a better way? There must be a better way. The use of non-lethal force, de-escalation, other techniques that could avoid this sort of outcome in the future, regardless of legal culpability. The outcome here was wrong. 22-year-old man should not have died in this way.
Let's go back to those protests. And as we have watched covering this over the past week, you feel that real raw emotion from the African-American community. In so many ways, Sacramento is moving forward. We've grown as a city. There's so many positives to where we live, but they feel that we have failed them in some way.
In many respects,
how have you
true.
failed this African-American community? What did this root from? It was kind of simmering, and this just exploded because these feelings have been there for a while.
Well, been there for a long, long time, not just the year, 14 months that I have been mayor of this city. But here's, you just said it, Kelly. There is so much excitement about the great Sacramento Renaissance, the Golden One Center, art, culture, entertainment, the food scene, all the great things that are happening, and so much more to come. What we're hearing from people, and I heard it loud and clear on Tuesday night, is that there still is a fundamental disconnect between that renaissance and the everyday lives of people in our neighborhoods. And we need to address that, and we are addressing it at City Hall. Not enough, but we launched 1,000 Strong. We want to have 1,000 high school students in year-round paid work experience starting in the Meadowview and Del Paso Heights neighborhoods. The cost of housing, there's so many things that are impacting people's lives that this is an opportunity to not only address police-community relations, but do so much more around helping to build these communities.
Let's go to Lisa Gonzalez right now. She's been taking in some questions from our viewers. So Lisa, what do you have?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, one question we've heard over and over again from our viewers is, what would you say to the tourists looking to visit or someone looking to move to Sacramento? Why would they want to come to Sacramento right now?
They'd want to come to Sacramento right now because we are bearing one of the most difficult and stressful situations a city could endure in a largely peaceful way. And that when we make the changes that need to be made, when we respond, when we show that we're the model for the country around how to take the most horrific tragedy and turn it into something positive and long-lasting, they're going to see Sacramento as the place we all see it, a place of inclusion and one of the best places to live in the country. I'm not worried about that.
Really quick, I want you to tell the people that are protesting tonight from you, what do you want to say to them? Are you sorry? Are you heartbroken?
I am sorry and heartbroken for what happened. Yes, I am. And I recognize that it is my responsibility. It's my colleagues' responsibility in the City Council. It's the chief's responsibility to respond to their pain. Keep the protests peaceful. That's one of the great things we have going here. Work with us, continue to push us, and we'll do great things.
All right, Sacramento Mayor Darrell Steinberg, thanks for making yourself available today. Appreciate it.